and some quick links that you can use in your own apprenticeship programs and delivery. So just a sort of whistle-stop tour of everything that we have on our site and what we know from our research as well about apprenticeships. I would hope that in your roles, you know that UCAS is the Universities and Colleges Admission Service. Very key date today because it's equal consideration deadline. So hopefully nobody is running around in your schools with last minute applications, but we've been on the phones for the last couple of days and I did my shift yesterday. So speaking to lots of young people and parents about those next steps. So it's very busy at the moment. But what you might not associate UCAS with is that we're not just about university. So as an independent charity, we are about providing information, advice and guidance. So free at the point of use, information, advice and guidance for young people and for anyone over the age of 25, and 25% of our database is over the age of 25. So we do have older, more mature students and more mature candidates coming through. But so we're there to provide information, advice and guidance for all career pathways. So yes, we look at higher education, but we are also looking at apprenticeships and employment pathways with the aim now that we progress everyone into a sustained and positive destination. So very similar to the outcomes that the Careers Hub and the Careers Hub Network are looking for. So we are a sort of one consolidated place that we hope that young people will come to get that information. So we have about 1.3 million students explore our site every year. And it's a little bit frustrating because today we will capture data and we'll be able to share it very soon. But at our January ECD point, we look at the data where students have expressed an interest in apprenticeships, and that's about 40% of our database tell us that they're interested in apprenticeships. And we make sure that we have a side-by-side search facility so that if a student is searching for an undergraduate degree course on our site, they will also be shown apprenticeship opportunities on the same page. So as many opportunities to share with young people that there's a range of pathways. So we know, so mentioned that ECD data capture, which will be happening today, and we'll have that information very soon for you. We know that last year in January 2024, 440,000 young people told us that they were interested in an apprenticeship. So when we started looking at apprenticeships in 2021, you can see by how much that has grown over a period of time. We also know from our research that we do that young people are still not yet quite getting the right information about apprenticeships. There's a supply and demand issue that we're very much aware of at the moment, that students may be interested in apprenticeship, but actually pinning one down that is local enough to them or is at the right level or the right sector can be very tricky. But student perception about apprenticeships is still a work in progress. So 76% of young people that we spoke to said that they thought going to university was prestigious, but only 4% thought the same about an apprenticeship. So there is some continued work to be done. This is some research that if you haven't had a look at it on our website and you do have some time, this might be something worth having a look at. We've done a set of research pieces called Project Next Generation, where we took 1,000 young people between the ages of 11 and 18 and asked them what they thought about their next steps. And these reports give us some insight into what it is young people want to do moving forward. And that's what we're basing some of our developmental work on. So I mentioned that we are a free-to-use site for young people with a range of IED resources on them. And this is just a little snapshot of some of those resources for you. So you will probably be aware of the student UCAS Hub account, where traditionally Year 12s will sign up and they'll create an account and they will work their way through until they get placed into a university position. But what we're doing now is broader than that. So I would say have a think and consider potentially starting your Year 10s or Year 11s with creating a UCAS Hub account. There's no lower age limit, and we would like younger students to use the accounts. We're working on differentiating some resources in the future to account for slightly younger students, but no reason why Year 10s and Year 11s can't have a UCAS Hub account, which will also allow them to work their way through the apprenticeship journey. So we'd recommend that they take the careers quiz, they look at the industry guides, they favourite some careers because then the algorithm will help them, that they start looking at side-by-side options, that they can look at some of our online and our face-to-face events, that they can create a CV, explore virtual work experience and build a profile. And I'll explain what some of those things are a little bit further as we go through. So we have a wide range of resources on our website. So if a student creates an account, the algorithm will ultimately help them with their favourites and make some suggestions. So the best place to start is the careers quiz and get your students thinking about what it is they want to do in the future. And then they can work their way through all of the different activities on the site. And as I say, this can be used with younger age groups. So if you haven't got a sixth form, we still welcome you to come and sign up and be part of our newsletter and get access to all the resources as well. We've got some student-facing videos and TikTok information and try and reach out to students through social media. So anything that you do want to use on the site, it's all there for you. And in National Apprenticeship Week, we have some updated Katie Thistleton videos which will be launched. So probably a good time to direct your students or to put in any newsletters the links to these activities which will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Over the summer, we created some neurodiversity and specific resources for young people who are interested in an apprenticeship. So there's some really good guidelines there for young people and for you and for their families on what the journey could be for them given their individual needs. And we continue to create resources like this. So if you use our site and you think something's missing, let me know and we'll have a look and see if we can provide any other information for you. Just before Christmas, and if you're on our mailing list, you may have already had some comms about this. We launched our CV Builder module. So when a student has an account with us, they will be able to create a CV. So this, again, if this would fit with your Year 10s nice and early, when you have that built into your careers programme anyway, the CV Builder is there. So it takes away that having to format that painful bit with students about how many lines to leave and where to put the address and all of that. They just give us their information, their names, their contact details, the GCSEs or the A levels or T levels they're studying, actual or predicted grades, put them into the account. It can continually be updated. And then all they have to worry about is completing the sort of quality piece of work, which is about why they would be good in a specific sector or in a specific job role and the soft skills that they have. So we have a massive resources that sits around CV Builder. And then so students can access them and use the resources, and then they can either download the CV as a PDF or as a Word document. So it's all there, it's free to use. They just need a UCAS Hub account. And if you look on the advisor part of our portal, there's lots of information for you in how you can build that into a lesson. And there's a lesson plan and all of those resources for you readily available. So we have plenty of resources on our website that you can just download and use, so you can get easy access to these. So we've got some editable slide decks about apprenticeships. So we don't want you all having to create different apprenticeships, different PowerPoints for different user groups. So there's information there to use with students and to use with parents and to use with colleagues. So you can download these, edit them for yourself to make them fit your specific needs, and we'd welcome you to make use of these. We have a UCAS widget. It was recently updated in the, well, I say recently, it's in the last 12 months. So if you haven't updated your widget, it now includes information about apprenticeships as well as other routes. So lots of useful information, and saves parents and young people having to search through our website for what they can find. And this widget can be downloaded directly onto your own school or college websites. The advisor guide for 2025, we're now in early January, so I'm sure you have seen this, but the advisor guide for 2025 is live on the website. Lots and lots of information readily available for you. And we have one which is readily available for parents as well. So again, this is a link you can put directly out to parents in your newsletters. And there's apprenticeship guidance within those that pack as well. So last summer, you may be familiar with these. We launched subject tasters. So these are virtual lessons for students that they can take as part of your careers programme. Again, they sign up for their account and they can access these directly. So you can encourage students to do this in a quiet period, maybe when there's no revision or mock exams happening, or during school holiday periods, or definitely within your careers programme, and students could be in a computer room doing different ones. But these have all been set by university partners to help students understand what it would be like to study at different levels. And then we have also launched, we're in partnership with SpringPod, and we've also launched virtual work experience. Now, I understand from previous role how complex it is to get work experience for young people. So I was really pleased that UCAS were working on this provision as well. So we have ready to access downloadable virtual work experience opportunities. And again, just like the subject tasters, students can access these themselves independently or in a lesson. We have some employers who have written these, and they're there for the whole year on our website, and they're there all the time. However, some, for their own reasons, choose to have a 3-month or 4-month period that the work experience will remain live, and then so there's a window. So if you're looking at these with students, I'd recommend that you get them to keep looking, because new ones come on all the time if there isn't specifically something in their area. But this is something we're seeing good take up with employers, and they're really interested in being able to access students directly as a taster. So this can be part of your progressive work experience programme. I know there's an awful lot, but I am very near the end of my slides, and then you can ask me anything. So we are working on our platform to make sure that we can show routes through apprenticeships in parallel with the current IFE occupational maps. So we're aiming to be able to show students the routes through. So you'll start to see some of that appearing on our website fairly soon. I've mentioned the CV Builder tool, which is now live. And then we have, just before Christmas, we announced that UCAS tariff points for level 3 apprenticeships will in 2026, in the 2025-2026 cycle, be considered by universities alongside A levels and T levels. So we have more information of that on our website. It will take a full cycle to be able to have that in the provision, so that universities have the opportunity to make sure that their systems are ready. But if you have any students who may be asking about the impact of an apprenticeship on tariff points, the information is on our website, and that will be live for the entry point in September 2026. But we're really hopeful that that's going to help the journey to parity for qualifications such as apprenticeships for young people. And then just I will send to Frankie all of this information so you've got it and you can look back at your own leisure with all of the links. But if you're not signed up for our monthly newsletter, I would recommend that you sign up and start to receive the advisor updates. You'll be able to just pick and choose. If you're not the person who is responsible for the UCAS applications, then there's lots of information comes out that sits around that. You can just ignore anything that is around the UCAS applications. We have regular advisor live sessions which happen, so you can access the recordings on our website, but if you'd like to take part, you're very welcome to sign up for those. We run lots of training and conferences annually, so there's lots of information available for you. There is an online CPD module all about apprenticeships, so you can access that as well. And then there's just lots and lots of information on our website. So if you're not a regular user to UCAS, I'd recommend that you favourite that and visit it every now and then. Although I do appreciate, things can get very busy. So if you've signed up for the newsletter, it's an easier way of keeping up. And that is everything I wanted to tell you about UCAS apprenticeships. So if I stop sharing and hopefully.
Thank you so much, Shona. We've got like maybe a minute or so for a couple of questions, if there is any. And then we can introduce Alice. Perfect. If you want to put your email address in the chat, Shona, and then I'm sure that the guys will get back to you if they've got question after the presentation.
Yeah, that's
really
We've got a hand up from Sue at the moment.
Oh, Sue, sorry, I didn't see you.
Hello, Shona. Hello, everyone. Just wondering, Shona, about the sort of the webinar, virtual work experience and the newsletter, showing of the site and everything. Does each student have to have a login, or can a teacher do that? Or
so to access the site, we've got lots of information for students, so they can go on the site anytime, just straight away. But when it is the virtual work experience, the student would need to sign up separately to be able to access it individually, because some of them are very interactive, so it need to have a screen each. But to start with, I think if you're looking at something, it would be worth exploring the individual work experience and just click through yourself to see if that would work as a group and how it would work. But most likely you would want to have individual access for the students.
Yeah, it's just something to consider, because with all the other programs that students are logged into, there's another password and another login to remember. So I just
absolutely
we'd have to work that out. So
yes,
thank you. It's great to see things moving forward.
The student creates their own password, so it would be school email address plus their own password. So that might help.
No, but thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shona. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm sure everyone will get in touch if they got any further questions.
Absolutely. I'll send you through the PDF, and please, if there are any questions, please just let me know. I'm quite happy to have a chat with anyone. So if I leave you in Alice's capable hands. Hello, Alice. Nice to see you.
Hi, Shona.
Yeah, I'll leave you all then, guys. Thanks very much.
Nice
bye bye.
To see you. Thank you, Shona.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Alice. How are you?
Hi everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for having me join you as well today, following Shona. So I'm just going to share my slides with you, hopefully. Hang on a minute. Can you see my slides okay? Brilliant. Fantastic. As I say, thanks so much. I'm going to take you through a bit of an update on a career pilot and pathway planner as part of this session. So just wanted to kind of really give you a bit of a sorry, got a frog in my throat, a bit of a recap in terms of, so you remember what you're entitled to, because obviously you'll all know you're eligible to free access to career pilot, but just to point out a couple of relatively new resources that you might not have been aware of. Particularly looking at those sort of resources and how you could use Career Pilot to support around Gatsby 2, 3, 4 and 8 for this. I thought would be helpful. Within that is also the Pathway Planner tool, which specifically supports around personal guidance and also individual needs around Gatsby 3 as well. So just wanted to give you a bit of a recap so you know what's available there as well. And then really just how to get that set up, the access to that if you haven't already got that, and if that indeed that is something that's of interest to you. So hopefully it'd be useful for you just to kind of provide a bit of a reminder really of what's out there. So as I say, Career Pilot is completely free for you to use, as you're probably more than aware, and it includes all of the access for the students to the Career Pilot site that they'll probably be very familiar with already, but it does also include the Pathway Planner tool, which I'm going to mention, and also all of that support for you as a careers leader in terms of having access to a whole range of different resources, to the reporting zone, and also the parent zone as well that you can share that particularly might be useful thinking about the National Careers Week coming up. Just a really nice resource to be able to share with all your parents and carer communities. But obviously you do have to have the admin access to be able to make best use of all of the Career Pilot platform. So just as a bit of a recap, in terms of really making best use of the site, it's always good to make sure the students have set up their account. I know Sue, you were just mentioning the problems, was it Sue mentioning the problems with with students logging in and passwords remembered to be remembered and all that sort of thing. I know it is another password, and I know all of the hassles that can produce initially, but once they've signed in, it does only take sort of a short while to sign in, but it does make it much richer experience for students if they have sort of logged in and actually use the career tools in a more of a personalized way. The reason that this helps is because when they're going into the site, they could be saving things they're interested in, and it's building up this full report that then supports them and also helps you to meet the individual needs of the students based on the information you have on them, which is obviously helping around Gatsby 3. So as I say, as they're using Career Pilot, if they've logged in, they can save things they're interested in. So they could be looking at, what's important to them, thinking about what subjects they're interested in, and saving those things that are interesting to them specifically. And then that's all being saved within their Career Pilot career tools. They can have a really top line view through their dashboard. They can have an at a glance, see what their top skills, interests, values, any results of any quizzes they've completed. But then there's also the more detailed full report that they can see in their career tools, but also you can see as a careers leader or a careers advisor can see to support them with delivering their personal guidance. The careers advisor, as part of their guidance, can be recording any comments following any one-to-one sessions directly into their report. They could also be using the report as a bit of pre-guidance preparation as well to make sure that they're meeting the needs of their students when they meet them. So it really supports them around like Gatsby 8 and 3. And the report moves up with them each year as well. So just a really useful tool to support around those particular Gatsby benchmarks. In addition, you'll be probably more than aware we've got a whole range of different resources within the Career Pilot Advisor Zone. So there are a few new resources this year. We're always reviewing and updating resources as well, constantly to make sure that the labour market information is current as well. So things are refreshed, but just a few things to be aware of that are new within probably the last term. So in our section on LMI resources around hot jobs, we've got sets to support students to find out about green jobs. We've got a new updated set around healthcare jobs, also digital and IT jobs. And we've also last year, so it's not quite so new, but there's also a poster as well, sort of highlighting some of the jobs related to the growing space sector as well. So some really interesting resources for students to find out about those jobs that are predicted to grow over the coming years. So really support around Gatsby 2. We also do have a job of the week section as well. So we've got social media posts that you can share with that highlighting jobs that are predicted to grow within each of these sectors as well. So again, it's quite a nice resource to be able to make the most of. Also, to support subject teachers to make the link to careers from their particular subject area, we've got a range of resources now. We've got the packs that give them sort of top tips. It's a one-pager for each of the subject teachers to be able to use and make the link to their from their subject area to careers, of sort of links to videos, people talking about different careers related to their subject area. We've got this new set of slides. So this is hot off the press. It was we uploaded this last term. So again, this is a set of slides that subject teachers can use as a starter within their lessons to make the link to careers, and it highlights a range of different jobs related to their subject area, but also post-16 and post-18 options. So highlights how they could take that particular interest further through study, apprenticeships, and then finally into careers. So just quite a nice starting point, shows them how they can explore those ideas further on Career Pilot. And then we've also got the subject posters, which you're probably already aware of as well. So, but yeah, the new slides is worth being aware of because they're really helpful. And again, could be quite a nice resource to support around National Careers Week. So it's quite a quick and easy way to make that link to careers from across the curriculum. So the other thing that I just wanted to flag up was the Career Pilot Pathway Planner tool, which again is available to you for free within the Cornwall area, but it just needs to be set up if this is something that's of interest. And I just wanted to give you a refresher really of how the Pathway Planner tool works. So how this works is it takes you through sort of different stages. The first stage is it's assessing the needs of your students to give them a RAG readiness rating for you to be able to allocate personal guidance at the need that's relevant for them, at the level, sorry, that's relevant to them, depending on their needs. It helps you to then allocate and book guidance directly from the site, and then also to then track the progression and the impact of that guidance. So I'll just take you through how it works. It's an online triage model, and it's supporting obviously around delivering effective personal guidance around Gatsby 8, and also helping to meet and address the needs of your students based on their individual needs. So how it works is we've got a lesson exploring post-16 options or a lesson exploring post-18 options, whichever one you're wanting to deliver. So you would deliver that lesson to your students for them to find out about the different pathway options. Then as part of that lesson, they would then log on to Career Pilot, to their account, and they will then be able to see the Pathway Planner tool within their career tools. They click on there, and then they choose which of the pathways they're interested in from the pathways you've discussed. So we're looking here at obviously the post-18 pathways. So they say whether they're definite, considering or not doing that particular pathway. Then they save and they start a quiz. So this quiz is just asking them a set of questions only about those pathways that they are considering or definite about. It won't worry about those that they don't want to do, but it's going to ask them a set of questions to find out have they done what they need to do, and do they know what they need to know in order to make an informed decision about that particular pathway. And this at the sort of back end is then creating a sort of RAG rating of how ready they are to make a choice about that particular pathway. They will then get the results so they can see the pathways they're considering, and you can see here, so they're considering apprenticeships, but that's coming up as red. So it looks like there are some significant things perhaps they need to find out or do before making a choice about apprenticeships. Maybe they don't know how to find an apprenticeship or apply. Whatever it is will be flagged up within their results, but it helps you to then be more informed about planning the support that those students have. So it gives them the red, amber or green rating, and it's sort of readiness rating. So that tells the students. But then for you as a careers leader, you can then log in with your admin password. You go to the Pathway Planner section, which will then be showing in your admin area, and you can look at the results of the quiz on here. So it will then give you the data of those students that you've run the lesson with and the quiz, and you can see at a glance which pathways they are considering or definite about. Sorry, excuse me. and it'll give you the RAG rating. So you can see straight away what level of guidance perhaps you want to offer for those students. It also gives the ability to have look at a group of students. So if you could see you've got a group of students that are considering apprenticeships and coming up red, you might offer them a group session to cover off that particular bit of information as well. So there's different ways that you can use this. You can see there's the year 11 version or the post 16 version we'll show on here. You can look at the students individually, or you can look at them as a group. And then it gives you a range of different actions. So looking now, you could book guidance directly from here, and you can see what the guidance dates are, whether the students have turned up or not. So lots of, ways of sort of tracking the personal guidance directly. So it allows you to send out an invitation to your students and to choose the level of guidance you're going to offer them. So for those with greater need, you perhaps offer like the full hour-long guidance session. For those with lighter level needs, it might be that you offer them a drop-in session, or you might be inviting them to a group session. Different ways that you can use this to support your students. So it's really obviously supporting you as a careers leader to have that overview of allocation of guidance and meeting the needs of your students, but also for the careers advisors as well. It's offering them a whole level of support to really meet the needs of their students. So before they can access the data, they can have a look and see what students are considering in terms of their pathways. They look at the results, they can see what bits of information they particularly need to know more about. Then during the session, obviously, they can be using that data to support them, and they can be recording their actions as they go with the students into Career Pilot. And then after, they can also write up a progression. So they can do a little one-liner to say, as a result, how the pathway choices perhaps have chosen. As I say, they can agree some actions with the student, and all of that can be recorded into the pathway planner, into the reports for the students to be able to see. The students can also edit their responses as well as a result of the guidance session. So it's really helping to capture the progress in supporting the students. And all of this is captured on a timeline as well, which the students can also see. So you can see this student here at the bottom. So perhaps they were considering 3 different pathways here. There are a couple of the pathways they had quite significant things that they needed to find out about or do. They've then had their long guidance session. They've narrowed it down now to 2 pathways, and you can see they've moved on in terms of their understanding and their readiness to be able to make a decision about those pathways. So it really helps track how you're supporting the students as well. So in order to set up the pathway planner tool, it's simply a matter of just contacting us, and we would set you up with some training to be able to get that all set up to be able to use it in your particular setting. And then once you've attended the training, we then simply switch it on so the students can see it in their career tools and you can see it in the admin area, and you're ready to rock and roll with it. So the other benefits, if you haven't already got a general admin access to use Career Pilot, as well as being able to use the Pathway Planner tool, obviously you can access all the resources I just showed there as well. Just a few extra things just to be aware of. We run live webinars for parents and carers as well to support them around post-16 options and post-18 options. We've just had a really successful post-16 options webinar before Christmas. We had a couple of hundred parents that attended. We've got another one coming up later in the spring around post-18 options. So that's something that if you've got admin access, we would let you know about to share with your parents. And obviously you've got the ability to be able to look at all of the data around your students as well, if you've got that set up. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions, so I'm aware of time. I think I've just finished with a few minutes to spare for questions, I think.
Definitely, you've got 3 minutes at least.
Yeah. Okay. Ruth, yeah, hi.
Yeah, does anyone else have any questions? But I won't have volunteer to ask. Is it compatible with Compass Plus yet, Alice? Is any
It doesn't directly flow into Compass Plus just because of the way that we're set up, because we obviously the students own their own accounts rather than it being through, uploaded as a whole. So yeah, the two don't talk to each other, so it would need to, but we do have lots of support for completing Compass around career pilots. We've got maps, career pilot maps that sort of show how you can talk about the different activities and how they map to the different Gatsby benchmarks.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Sue?
Yeah.
Alice, thank you for this. We use Compass Career Pilot quite a lot and start them up in year 7. Because our students sort of tap into it occasionally, it doesn't quite flow as much as we'd like to, which is something that we'll address at school. But is there any way that we can upload a group activity, say for year 10s, and put in an action plan for a whole group to say, plan your work experience, or look at college taster days, or things like that? Is there any way yet that we can upload to all our student records, or am I pushing it?
I'm afraid not. No. No, unfortunately it's not possible to just upload as a group. Yeah, I know that's frustrating, but it does need to be, so it would need to be added as an actual activity. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I feel like they were both not great.
No, that's fine.
How to answer either positively.
No,
At least the way I see it, like Compass is more like a management tool and a reporting tool, whereas like a careers pilot is more kind of user focused, and it gives
Very
the
much
students
so,
access to what they're doing, and the staff are supporting the students. So I can see the difference between the two. Again, you can pop your email address in the chat, or I will share it with everyone, like with the notes and the slides at the end. But I find that really, really interesting, really useful. So thank you so much for coming along and presenting today.
Yeah, no, hopefully it was useful. It's my email address there if anyone's got any questions.
Can I say we use Career Pilot a lot at Polterre as well, and we had new careers advisors that we used this year, and they found the pathway planner tool so they could see the student profile and the interests really helpful.
Oh, great.
For their pre-appointments, they found it really, really insightful, and be able to start the conversations with the students.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah, it's really good.
Oh, that's
and
really
we keep
great
all
to get
our advisor action plans on there and everything as well. So
brilliant.
The managers and heads of year can see it as well. So it's been really useful. It's a really useful tool. Thank you. Apart from all the rest of it.
Well, that's great. That's good to hear.
I think with most platforms, the more you can speak to the whole school, like all the teachers and careers involvement, the more they know about it, the more effective it is, because it's like Alice said, that careers tool section is like the key to it really, and it's about getting the students to know when to click things so that they go into their profile. But that pathway tool does look really good.
Thank you so much.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Okay, I shall leave you to it then.
And hopefully see you soon. Thank you so much, Alice.
Thanks for having me today.
Welcome.
Bye.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
On this note, with 35 minutes to go, I hand it over to you to present our hub news and updates.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, no pressure. Hi everyone. So I'm going to share some slides with you, just with a brief update from us, and then we'll see how we go with further content. Are you seeing my screen at the moment with the Careers Leader Cluster Meeting slides? Yeah, cool. Okay. Get it on a big screen. So welcome everyone. Thanks for coming. We've got a few things going on in the background that's keeping us rather busy. But one of the ones we'd like to remind you about is the Careers Hub Summit. I think quite a few here today have actually booked on, which is fabulous. So thank you. If you can persuade any other senior leaders to come, please do, because I can promise it's going to be worth their while. We still have a few places left, but it is filling up rather quickly. There's a link on the slides which we'll send out afterwards. We are actually launching a new website in time for the Careers Hub Summit as well, with the aim of it being a lot more easy to navigate. And we are really honing in on impact as well. So we've created a template, and it would be really good if you've delivered any specific projects or activity that you feel that there's been a significant impact to your students as a result of that activity. We'd love to know about it, and we'd love to be able to shout about it as well. So we can send you a template to complete, the idea being to have it really brief and succinct, like less than 300 words. So it's not intended to be onerous, but any images or video links or anything are always good because it's a really good promotional tool. But then we can sort of shout out about it and endorse the work that you guys are doing. We held our first Sector Insights webinar last year because it's January now. It was a Flow Offshore Wind, and we do have a recording for that. It's been sent out in newsletters, and we do intend to have more of those sector insights as well. It would be really great if you could share the word around that. And spread and share the video if you want with your schools, because it's quite valuable. So have a look. There's the link there. And also we ran our first session this month on careers into the curriculum. Sue, you came along, didn't you? Do you want to add anything around that session?
Yeah, it was really good. John Walker's a great speaker and knows all about everything careers wise, which is fantastic. And it was just a lot of people think careers and curriculum is, this is my subject, this is what I've got to say, and this is this, and it's got to be prescriptive. But he actually put a very different edge on it, which I found really refreshing, and actually would be very useful for CALs and subject teachers to be aware of. So which I'm hoping to share and get more people along to the sessions in the future. So okay. Yeah, would strongly recommend it.
Oh, thank you. That's really good to know. Yeah, so there is a link to that, but I need to watch it fully. I have shared it with you, Sue, but I need to watch it fully before letting it loose. But it would be really good to try and get more curriculum leads to the session. That, I mean, not to say that it's not great to have careers leaders there, but we're trying to support you guys really to get more teachers present in the room. So if you could spread the word around that would be amazing. We got 2 future dates. It's the 2nd of April and the 10th of July. They're really short, snappy sessions because we know how busy teachers are, that it's, it's, and we've set it at 3:45 until, no, what was it, quarter past 3:45 until 4:30, all of the sessions, same time. It would be good to get your take on like whether we need to change the timings maybe for future reference, but I don't think there's a one size fits all. It's really hard to get people along to these things. And really it is an introduction, so we can support you further. If you want us to take a much deeper dive, come to the school, we can come in and support that activity. So that's, get in touch. You may have already done this. I know some of you have with me, namely Francis, thank you. There's a work experience survey taking place at the moment. It's a national drive to get this done, and there is a full briefing, which if there's time today, I can go through that. But on the horizon, with the government manifesto, there's going to be 2 weeks worth of work experience. Sorry, Mel, I know you're trying to get it off the ground now for 1 week, but in the future, this isn't going to be taking place right away. And the expectation is that it will start delivery from September 26. Okay, so at the moment we've got this luxurious period of we're trying to gauge from schools and employers the practicalities around it. But ultimately, it's about rethinking work experience, because there's been so much change with with employment. you know, in the landscape since COVID, since, you know, there's so many small businesses, for example, that are no longer working Monday to Friday in an office. We need to rethink how we do it. So, you know, the fact that Shona is presenting about, you know, these really fantastic virtual experiences, that could be part of it. It could be short 2-hour interactive. It could be like a full day visit at an employer's business. It could be a couple of hours of an employer coming to the school. It could be, you know, it could be that we can look at the mock interview process and try and, I mean, that in itself is an employer engagement. But it's about that two-way engagement, and it's about really preparing young people ahead of that and after that, and also preparing schools with some preparation activity and follow-up activity after the actual activity. So it's about preparing everyone so that we can maximize that activity. So it's going to be about the quality of that, and then any sort of follow-up as well. So the survey, in a nutshell, takes about 20 minutes to complete. Do it one-to-one with us, the enterprise coordinators. If you want to do it on your own, give us a shout. It is doable. You just need to get the link from us and we can do that. It takes about 20 minutes. And all it's asking is what is happening on the ground now. There's no sort of trade secrets or anything like that. It's really just to assess where schools are at, so that then they will write into statutory guidance how they foresee this 2 weeks worth of work experience. Just to add, it's from 7 to 11, so it's not just for year 10 either. If you're worried at all, don't be. Come speak to us. We can break it down. It's manageable. We can, well, we'll see. We'll see if it's manageable, but we're talking about it at the moment. It's more about preparation. The Careers Impact Leadership Review, we are, as a hub, trying to get as many of our schools to undertake this review before the end of the academic year. Ideally, this term would be ideal. The idea around that, there's links there, is that it's going to provide school leaders, careers leaders with a support network to help you to deliver your strategy. If you don't have a strategy, it'll help you to write a strategy. If you want to update your strategy, it'll help you to do that. But what it's going to do is give you a really good structured conversation to and actually get some buy-in from key staff within the school. So it could be your head teacher, it could be your Senko, it could be your governor, it could be your head of year, it could be your PSHE tutor. Anyone you feel is important that you would like to engage in that process, they're the people you want to talk to and try and get involved in that. And it should take about half an hour. It's an online tool and it's available on Compass. So in the evaluation section, you'll find there's a section there on the internal leadership review, and it's fairly straightforward. You'll get to assess yourself. And then future skills questionnaire. This will become more important as time goes on. We know there's been a few tweaks and challenges with rolling it out. We advise, well, Compass advise at least 72 hours. If you're going to send the link to students, there's a few things you need to do around sort of whitelisting the email address, otherwise it won't actually get to the student. And also just allowing for the system to keep up, because I think it's become very usable, very used. There is actually a video that can be used as well. Thank you. See you again. There is a video that you can use with the students, which just explains what it is and why they're completing it. So if you've not seen that already, give us a shout and we can send that to you. But what it's going to do is help you to assess the quality of the careers programme, just by understanding what they do and don't know. And we can also use that data and insights for you know, for insights, so that we can ensure that we're preparing learners in the best way that we can. And then case studies. So I touched on this earlier. We've got a new website. So we do have some case study templates. And if you do have a case study you'd like to highlight, let us know. Sue?
Yes, sorry to go back to the future skills questionnaire. We try and do that and have, like all schools, limited time for our students in the computer room, and I always feed back to Compass Plus, the tech team, because with every session we've had technical glitches, so we're not getting the full picture, which is quite frustrating. But we just don't get the chance to revisit it after that moment.
What sort of technical glitches are you getting?
So we've had times when it's just not uploaded. They've had the email, they've had the link, they've gone into it, and it just keeps whirring round. They say to me each time, you just got to keep pressing refresh. But with students, you've only got 20 minutes to do this, and by the time they've logged in, not logged in, but by the time they've got it up, pressed refresh a couple of times, we've lost them. So so I do keep feeding this back to them. I'm sorry, I'm sounding very grumpy today, aren't I? But we do keep feeding back with them, but we're not getting the full picture because probably half of our students are doing the questionnaires, so or successfully doing it. So we're getting there. But I do feed back to them every time. So
thanks. It's really good to do. I will also feed back because I'm the Compass champion. So so I will feed back to them as well. I think what's happening is basically more people are using it. So yeah, but they're aware of it and they are constantly making improvements. So apologies for that, Sue. At least you're getting a sample, hopefully enough students, a sample in quite, in any sort of research methods. A sample of students is good. You're not expected to get everyone, but obviously if you're looking
from the sample, which when you're drilling down into the maybe our more vulnerable students, they're the ones that we're not catching the data of, so we're not getting to see what their journey is because they've given up with it. So
if you want, the CEC might not like me doing that, but I could set you up with a Google form for those instances, but the only challenge then it's not going into your Compass Plus for analysis.
Somebody will have to upload it. So we'll gloss over that one. We'll just keep
okay. No worries. We've also had requests for so the data platform. Once you've done the surveys, at the moment you can't sort of download the data, but that's been fed back to the Careers and Enterprise Company, and they are looking into that for future reference. I do believe it's just going to be an improving picture, so please bear with them for now.
It's massively developed over the years. We were part of the pilot, so it's great when that happens, and it's they are listening and they are doing it all the time. So we do appreciate them. I've had some good chats with them, so they are tweaking things as we go. So that's great.
There's a new activities tool as well on the front of Compass. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but there's a tool there where you can download the activities and do a bit of fine-tuning around how it's happening. It's basically a much better spreadsheet on the types of activities that are taking place. So give me a shout if you need a tour of that. I think Tracy, who's here, may have used that. Are you there, Tracy? And can you hear? And can you give any feedback?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, amazing. I'm sorry, I've got a desktop without a camera. I do apologise. No, I have had a look at that. I have, and you can drill down so you can look at your SEN students and see, and it will give you a list of what they've, what activities they've undertaken, and then you can then click on the activity, and it will give you, what details about that activity. Sorry, but also it links to their profile, so then you can see on their profile their results from their FSQ as well.
Okay, that's really good. Cool. Thank you, Tracy, and welcome, by the way.
Yeah, so sorry I'm late. It's just
Don't worry, don't worry.
usual school madness.
Yeah.
Running around delivering careers invites and things.
We understand, we know. So you've had a couple of communications from me and us, and Sue, we've got a meeting as well this week to discuss further. There's a couple of things that might be confusing here. So there's a data sharing agreement pilot project that was set up by me and has been running for 2 or 3 years now with local colleges, which involves a data sharing agreement and then agreed reports sent to and from the school. If you're part of that pilot, continue with it for this year is what I would say, because the data through the new transitions contract, which I'll talk about in a moment, won't be available probably until the end of the year. But the new transitions contract is managed by Janine Bisson at Cornwall Council, and with the Careers Hub have worked with Janine to embed the data sharing agreement pilot project into that process so that it's more streamlined. And we're working with the data team at Cornwall Council, who will then also provide reports. We're still finalising the details, but ultimately we're going to give schools that sign up to the service level agreement with Cornwall Council, if you sign the SLA and start gathering your destinations information and tracking it on Compass Plus, or another way, whatever works. Compass Plus. Sorry, what was that?
Thank goodness for that, because that's the one thing I don't use Compass Plus for, is our destination tracking. That's only because we've got quite a robust system here, and I've got everybody buying into it, and I don't really at this stage want to move it over. So yes, as long as it's got another means of capturing the data, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, all I would say is if it's working, don't break it.
Yeah.
But what I would say is Compass Plus will provide you with a much better, robust system to do it with. It's just that transition period, really. Yeah. So just maybe make a plan in the back of your head
for the future,
bit by bit. Yeah. Sue?
Sorry, butting in all the time. Could you resend the SLA to us, because we couldn't upload it? We couldn't actually get to sign it.
No, if you there's I've got an email, so I'll send that out and it tells you what to do. If you have any problems, could you contact Janine? She'll be the person to sort that out, because we're not managing that process.
Okay, no worries.
But ultimately, everyone as part of CSW group are being tubed across into the council. I don't know what people know or don't know, but that's what's happening. And so the provision offered to students will remain, but you're going to get more through the data sharing service level agreement with the council. Basically, we're trying to ensure that you get much richer data that is being provided through the pilot project through this new transition contract. Does that make sense? Yeah. Does anyone have any more questions on that before I move on that one?
Will it include data from sixth forms and other training providers?
Good question. Sixth forms, yes. Other training providers, not
like
sure.
Access, like Focus,
no.
GSTS.
I think for those training providers, Sue, if you can utilize that data sharing agreement, and you can do that if you wanted it. I know it's a bit more admin, but you can basically utilize that data sharing agreement and set it up between school and training provider. So if you've got a high percentage of students that are going to a specific provider, if you was to set up a data sharing agreement with them, then they can share data with you, and it's a systematic process. I will speak to Janine about training providers, because the other question I've got is from schools, especially like Tracy and Francis in the room, where you've got young learners leaving schools out of the county. So that side of things. Like I said, it's a new process. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be a work in progress, but we're all trying to make it as streamlined as possible. And it will probably be the same process that you follow already, but maybe with just a little bit of extra info. But if you were part of the pilot, you won't be doing two separate things now. You'll be doing one thing for it all. Okay. Right, so speak to Janine, training providers, Janine, training provider. I've got to write it down, otherwise I'll forget. Training provider. DPs. Okay, excuse me, sorry. There's a link there to the resource directory on Benchmark Free, and then there's a link there on how to use the interest and destinations tab. Is anyone using that want to share?
Yeah, I'm using it.
Okay.
It's quite from the I do use it for the interest in the destinations, but also using it for the follow-up of recording of where they've gone. It's quite a lot of admin. I've actually taken it. We were getting staff tutors to do it, the interest in the destinations, but it's it's not a swift process because you have to go into each record individually, and they just didn't have time to do that. So now they're doing a spreadsheet. So I'm uploading. So it is double admin, which is what we're just biting the bullet with at the moment. But it gives us a picture. And the pilot of updating the information of where they've gone on to, again, a big admin task. So and it is just me, so therefore it takes me away from work with students. So it but we'll catch up with that later. So next week. So just to say that it's there, we're recording how much time it's taken, and but the spreadsheets that you get, the fact that I can just upload it and say it's worth it on that front, so you can get to see where people were intended to go and where they ended up. But you have to change the data of where they've gone to. So, for example, if someone's doing biology, geography, and economics, then they've gone on to do English, maths, and chemistry, or something. You have to change what their option was to then update that information, because otherwise it's not an accurate destination. So it's I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong and being over the top, which is not like me.
No, and I don't think there's really ever going to be an easy way to track destinations of young students, especially the fact that they got so much to think about, too many things to consider. What you're right, Frankie? What is this?
I was saying pick up the phone, text them. Like, I think that's the only way. Obviously, it's not time. It's not so efficient. But I think that's we schools that used to do it well. That's what they did. Just pick up the phone, text them, try every single way. Again, cost time.
Yeah, because you are the IAG, aren't you, Sue? So other schools are utilising their external or internal IAG providers to track and add those details when they're having the one-to-ones. Which, if you're paying them externally, why not give them the job? Sorry, Sue.
I'm a combination of everything, so it's quite a unique role, but it's it's inputting that data. So inputting it in Compass Career Pilot for the one-to-one for the student, you input it into Compass Plus. There's a lot of duplication going on, but we'll work it out.
I think with anything, it's finding the right way, and not one size fits all, I don't think, is it? But what I will say is these platforms, unfortunately, are here to stay. And they are sort of being written more and more into sort of statutory guide, or they will be. They are being nationally recognised, and they are part of future planning. So
the more we can utilize what's being given to us, the easier it will become, hopefully, in the future. I think especially with like the work experience model, Compass Plus is going to feature quite heavily for that. And the difference with basically when they start to assess the impact of that, what they're going to be doing is assessing the impact to learners rather than the impact to the careers programme, which is what you guys are doing at the moment. You're doing your self-assessment through the Compass evaluation, which is assessing the programme, whereas the Equilax model will assess the student outcomes. So yeah. So I think that's the end of the briefing. We've got 7 minutes left, which isn't a long time. And there was a suggested topic, wasn't there, Frankie, on a discussion. So I don't know if that's what you guys wanted to talk about, or
it was, but it was about reporting destination. I think we had a lot of it, or careers pilot, to what you just say. So what I was going to suggest is to leave the last 5 minutes for the guys in the virtual room, and for us guys, like maybe just like a chat, like share good stories, share challenges, leave it that kind of a bit of a free spin, and saying that close the meeting. Just saying, the next one will be at the beginning of May. It will probably take place at the new county hall, okay, in Truro. So we give a chance to the guys coming from the other end as well to join in person if they want, and hopefully the IT will be a bit easier for me to set up. But yes, and if you've got a calendar order, we send information. If you've got ideas or things you would like to discuss, then please send it over to us. Thank you for coming along today, and yeah, keep working with us and doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to have to go, guys. I've got a leadership meeting next
Okay.
about 5 minutes. So
well, hope it goes well.
Thank you. Thanks. See you then.
I had a really quick question,
Yeah,
Ruth,
go
which
for it.
you might know the answer to. So I think it was November when there was I can't remember what it was called. It was some kind of like cluster meeting to do with careers leaders. Yeah. And it was where they introduced the Gatsby, the next 10 years document, and kind of went through it. And they said that, you know, it wasn't kind of officially like approved yet with the DFE, that probably January, February or something. Do you know if there's any more about that?
I think the latest update is it's going to come into play from sort of like March onwards. I don't think the evaluation questions are going to change in this current academic year. So, but there will be. Thank you, Sue. Thanks for coming. There will be, but we'll basically give you the guidance. Sorry, I haven't got definite answers on that one. So I'll find out exactly.
Okay.
Next 10 years. Yeah, no worries. Was there any other burning questions?
That was it. Yeah.
That was it. Have you seen the summary document with the change in the wording, Nicole? Because that's quite a useful document.
Well, what I did, I don't know if someone had already done this, but I just kind of, so I took like the two sort of documents side by side and made like a spreadsheet with 8 different tabs, and then I took the success criteria wording from 2014 Gatsby to the success criteria wording from 2024, and then highlighted for all of my 3 career leaders in the trust, highlighted the change in wording, and then sort of highlighted in a separate like box what I thought we needed to do as a trust and as and maybe just individual schools to kind of prepare for that.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
I mean, if you want to share that with us and
Sure.
us to offer any insights around that, you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. There should be clear communication from them and us, basically. Keep going systems as usual.
Okay.
What I would say is that the changes in wording has made it easier for everyone, really, more than anything. Namely, 3 years of destination data is no longer written into that. even though we've been bending over backwards to try and get it through. And annoyingly as well, the need for a level 6 trained careers guidance is no longer present, which I find a bit annoying as well.
But it does sort of say like, I don't know, I know it doesn't say that, but it's like kind of says something about like something about a named trained careers advisor or something like that. Which I kind of took to mean, well, this is how I've interpreted it, and what I've said to what I've said to the head of the trust is that, like, where we have well, like in one of the schools anyway, where we have a PSHE and careers as a combined role, to me, that wording would kind of stipulate that they're separate entities that should be their own roles. That's how I've took it to mean, and that's how I've passed it on to my CEO anyway.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got no like qualms with what you're doing and the way that you're interpreting them, and you're taking the right approach. But yeah, anything, if you want feedback, we can give it to you.
Okay. I'll send it to you, and you can
and then we can give you a little bit more detailed guidance. But yeah, I mean, I think what will happen, like with like the work experience, there's a bit of a blurring now, I would say.
Well, that's what I said, because I shared that document that I created I met with Holly and James and Laura from the trust last week, and I shared the document with them, kind of went through it. I said, when we got into like the work experience bit on Gatsby benchmark, I said that there's like a little bit of kind of follow up. There's more to the work experience. I said, but the new stuff about work experience is like a year behind the Gatsby. So like the stuff, like when I attended a meeting about, it was the same meeting. It was something to do with like cluster. I can't remember what it's called anyway. And they were talking about the new Gatsby benchmarks 2024, but then there was a sort of another person speaking about changes to work experience when they were talking about the two experiences, etc. But because they were talking about that for September 26, and it seemed like the benchmarks would be 2025, that there was kind of like this year's lag almost with the work experience bit, but which maybe, you know, kind of a good thing, I guess, because it gives you a little bit more time to actually action it and start thinking about how you're going to do two experiences and what that's going to look like. Is it going to be partly, I don't know, like keep the year 10 as a face-to-face sort of thing, and then do the other bit as some sort of online thing in year 9 or so, I don't know, whatever, you know, I don't know, whatever.
Well, I would say the year 10 face-to-face model as it stands doesn't really work for employers at all. And also because many schools are doing it like the last week of July, there's a distinct problem there, because there's no follow-up or reflection, which is really crucial to impact. So it's about making it feasible for employers and schools, yet also making sure that there is that sort of that level of you know, driving the quality more than anything. So I think it could actually be some of that, like year 10 model could actually be blended. It could be you know, group work for some of the week, and then a bit of one-to-one, maybe a visit, and then a Dragon's Den at the end of the week. But it's about tailoring and designing something. Ultimately, it's about getting a work experience. And
I mean, personally, like one of my key sort of areas of responsibility now in the trust is with disadvantaged students. So I'd want to see that, and I'd probably write into our strategy, you know, more of a positive discrimination to having more work experiences than the minimum for those, you know, people premium students as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's work that we're doing. I mean, as much as we're briefing you guys, there's work that we're doing with the employers as well around employer standards. So there's a framework there that we're working with them on to support them to provide more opportunities, because I think there's a slight hesitation. They're a bit nervous about it. So they're just doing the broad sweep top level approach rather than, you know, giving those opportunities for young people. And then we had Lisa from Penventon yesterday. She was saying, you know, about the working time directive and how it doesn't work for young people in hospitality, because a lot of the work is in the evening, you know, so there's all of those, like, that's kind of the whole mash of it at the moment, is about getting that information across to government and statutory guidance so that it can work for all. But like you said, there's so much in terms
I mean,
of...
I had a couple of years ago, I had a girl who was doing, who'd kind of left it quite late to do work experience, and we really struggled. But there was like in the village that she lived in, there was kind of like a quite upmarket sort of real foodie kind of restaurant, but they only opened in the evenings. And she said, oh, I've managed to get work experience with blah 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 blah, whatever restaurant it was. She said, oh, they're only open Wednesday to Saturday evenings or whatever. Can I do my work experience there? And I was like, I said, I'm going to have to tell you this like off the books here. I said, but what we'll do is we'll say that you couldn't find a work experience. I'll put it down that you've not been able to find a work experience placement. And then your mum can put in a request for a holiday form for that week. And then your mum can be responsible for you doing the work experience in the evenings, Wednesday to Saturday. I said, because I can't sign off that in school. So, yeah.
Bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, because that's what I mean. It's about responding to business, and like that, you know, the Monday to Friday between 9 and 3 o'clock just doesn't work for a whole week for many businesses, you know. So it is about, you know, the practicalities around it. So yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, no, fine. I could chat to you all day. You're really good. So and I'll see you at the Careers Hub, Summit.
Yes, definitely. And I'm gonna try. I'm pretty sure Laura's already signed up to it, but I'll just make sure that Holly and James are. It's quite hard to get Holly to attend things, but I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, it'd be really good if you could.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
See you later.
Nice to see you. Cheers.
Bye.